ask me a lot, what is Fresh Tribe? What is Fresh Tribe Republic? Um, Fresh Tribe stands for Future Representatives of a Successful Heritage of Talent, Renaissance, and Brilliance. Um, I came I came up with that acronym, man. It took me a long time to find that name and to find that. Um, I actually stumbled on that after a song I did. It was called A Tribe Called Fresh. Just because the beat that I had at the time, it sounded like a Tribe Called Quest beat, so I just called it Tribe Called Fresh. And then like after I completed my Beautiful Ugly, which is really just more of a compilation, but that Fresh Tribe, it just stuck with me. Fresh Tribe, and it's like, was it gonna be entertainment? Was it gonna be this? Was it gonna be that? When I look up the word republic, man, it's just an independent nation, it's sovereign. So like, I wanted to be able to like house my own stuff. So like, I've had offers for large sums of money in order to help me put out albums that at the time I don't think I was ready to create, and then also to accept certain things and to not know different things about business and things. I didn't want to put in blood, sweat, and tears for a situation that would leave me in a bad position. So the republic aspect came from the fact that I want to be able to stand on my own. And Fresh Tribe, it speaks for itself. It's an acronym, and it's also taking pride in your presentation. That's actually where that fresh comes from as well. You take pride in your presentation. You want to be fresh. You want to be viable. You want to be alive. You want to look good, feel good, smell good, and act accordingly as well. Just a higher standard of behavior and quality. Yeah, but it's kind of like what I was just saying was the way that I view art, music, and business and just the day to day evolution of consciousness amongst in hip hop, rap, the hood, whatever you want to call it. It's like Tupac made it cool to merge consciousness into what they labeled as gangster rap. And then in turn, Jay-Z made it cool to, in the street hustler lifestyle, he made it cool to be introspective, but then at the same time to step your game up and to be a businessman at the same time, to wear a suit, change clothes, to rhyme on different types of beats when the Neptunes came around and, added a different dimension to, the type of artist that was hopping on Timberland's beats and things like that. Pimp C and Bun B and a slew of other artists like 8Ball, MJG, Outkast, 3 6 Mafia, Hot Boys, Master P and No Limit, Screwed Up Click, so many cats, they made it cool to be from the South. Goody Mob. And then, you had T.I. come out, and Ludacris was one that really just had like straight radio success. But then T.I. came out and he made it like cool to be that, that cat from the South that had so much flavor, but then at the same time he could switch up on you too, and like take on an acting role, and we hadn't really seen like another thing like that. But as of recent, Kanye, with what he's doing, I've always respected Kanye as an individual, as an artist, because it's not like the dude is trying to go left field. He's just pushing himself as far as he can go. So like, as of recently, when he's, on the radio screaming at the top of his lungs about how he doesn't have enough money to do the things he wants to do, from somebody that's entrepreneur minded and somebody that wants to actually own everything that he does, I completely see where he's coming from. I think people look at him like, oh man, you married, you rich, you got this, you got that, whoop de boo, blah blah. But it's like, why don't you use your own money? You know, you got all this money to do this, but it's like when you're looking at companies like Nike, you're looking at companies like Adidas or even Apple or IBM. You know, these companies have billions of dollars sat to the side. They have billions of dollars that they use to invest in other products, so that if they invest in a product that doesn't do well in the market, it's not going to be life-threatening as it is for someone who's worked from the bottom up to, you know, single-handedly do what they're doing. And not that they don't have help, but to single-handedly out of your own resources, your own personal resources, you know, you're pumping into your company and investing in different ideas and investing in different things. And then that product doesn't perform well, that hurts a lot. And then you have to work that much harder to recoup those costs. Whereas, you know, companies like IBM and companies like Apple or Nike, like you have like the best designers and the best engineers on the planet working for you. Like they're coming straight out of Johns Hopkins, straight out of MIT to your threshold floor as interns doing groundbreaking work on new products. And not only are they the manufacturers, but they also distribute their own stuff, and they're paying people and cutting checks nonstop. So I mean, it's a different type of situation, and you know, the concept of ownership, you know, goes as far as not having to answer to anybody in the average mind. When truly the concept of ownership, you know, you need to be able to manufacture, distribute, warehouse, and then also continue to create and sustain a certain thing in order to, you know, make moves in a global sense, and in a sense of like being able to create industries and to be able to compete amongst titans of industry and not just be a part of the industry. So like that's why I really respect the game, man, and that's what I pull from so much, is because I pay attention. Like even with the newer cats, like, you know, cats like Kendrick on the mainstream tip, he makes it more. He makes it fun to be lyrical because people will actually pay attention to what you're saying if you know what I'm saying, if you're spitting it right over the right beat. But you know, the same with like a Drake, where he made it cool to be kind of uber sensitive on topics that normally before that men didn't want to talk about, especially on a record, you know. But you know, J. Cole, him being a straight A student, you know, graduating cum laude, and you know, that dude could be the head of a corporation right now if he wanted to, because he had straight A's his whole life, for what I'm read. So, like, that's dope for somebody like that's his favorite rapper, and then he has straight A's because his favorite rapper has straight A's. You know, and just the evolution of consciousness within everything. You know, Mos Def paved the way for a lot of guys that grew up in certain standards situations in certain ways, and then they fit in, but they didn't fit in with the negative part of it. Or like they fit in and they was a part of the culture, but like, you know, they had their own way about going about doing stuff. So those are your Mos Defs, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? They like to dress sharp. You know what I'm saying? Like they like to act, they like to do theater, you know what I mean? Like they like to kick it in the barbershop, but then they also like to go to you know what I'm saying, to an art museum or something. And, you know, constantly expand the mind and expand the horizons of what this experience is. And that's what I seek to do in my music. I want to pay homage to everybody around me and my ancestry as well, because the legacy is deep and the heritage is deep. And I think the sense of materialism that we get in hip-hop, it comes from having nothing at first, because, you know, we know about slavery, we know about racism, we know about civil rights, we know about oppression, and we know about, you know, the welfare systems that divided families. And I mean, it just, there's so many different things, and I'm not good with statistics. Trisha Rose, who we went to go see at Warner Pacific College, you should look her up. She has many good books about these type of things. And plenty of statistics. If you look up Trisha Rose, Professor Trisha Rose, I think she's teaches out of Brown University in Rhode Island. But I'm not a statistics guy, but there are several different historic moments and pivotal moments and just day-to-day situations that will show you why, black people in America just don't have economic rulership. Rulership, that's not a word, it's a word now. They don't have economic comeuppance. And those are issues that they actually mean something. So, I think it's a steady evolution that's going on to where it's like, at one point it was just about, there was no wages, it was just work. And then from there, we're not allowed, we're segregated, we're not allowed to be over here, so we're going to build our own stuff. And then, there were people who wanted to integrate for the sake of, peace, I guess. So then you integrate, and then all of a sudden you start letting go of those businesses. You start letting go of those schools. You start letting go of those charters. You start letting go of, these certain values. And then at the same time, you got these different industries that start to break off and pop off. And, we kind of leave a lot of stuff behind. So like, we start trading entrepreneurship for scholarships and degrees and diplomas and good jobs. Like, those good jobs only last as long as you have them. So, that doesn't create generational wealth. So, a big ticket item right now that's going on is gentrification. But what is gentrification but the transference of generational wealth? I'm 28 years old, so I'm at an age to where, I'm mature enough to actually be able to head a household and take the reins if my father were to pass down, or my grandfather or mother, if they were to pass down the family's wealth. Okay, here you go, young king, do what you got to do. A lot of my friends, I don't have any black friends that have transgenerational wealth. I have white friends who do. I have Asian friends who do. Some Asian friends, maybe one or two, maybe. I don't have any Mexican friends that do. But the family unit stays tight, so I mean, they're always together anyway. But the point that I'm making is that you go to school, for this set of people, you go to school, you get out of school, you travel, you maybe go to Europe, you maybe go spend some time overseas, do some internships. You might go to New York, San Francisco, Houston, different places in the country. And then now you kind of, seen the world, you gain experience, you become seasoned. And you've created your own worldview. And now you come back home, which is like Portland, or, what they're doing out in Harlem on Lenox Ave. There's different places throughout the country. It's a countrywide phenomenon that probably happens every 30 years or so.